Yeah.
What's not better
Yeah.
than
Kelly,
Sold out.
see if I can get a raise.
Yeah.
New pal. Yep. Good.
Hi, Gene. Hi,
Be
Gene.
pretty cool. He deserves it. He's
I get him a sugar-free milk.
2 in a row definitely helped. And he had a big game last year.
What's that one thing where I
We don't want you two arguing in the meeting.
Good for him.
What's that? What's that thing he does?
Are you okay?
I'm in one of those movies. I've been here for hours. Nobody told me any
Hey,
different.
listen, we just want to make sure we got your
I was here.
I told Billy, I said, at least they'll be here in 2 weeks.
You know what? Like this, all I went through it 3 times. I'm prepared.
I didn't know anything about him until that week leading up to the EC.
He got
EC Bowl.
He says I'm working. He said he's in the bed. Yeah.
You good? You good, Mark?
Yeah.
Are we recording?
Having problems, technical difficulties.
You okay then? Want me to go ahead?
Yeah.
Okay, welcome everyone. First meeting I'd like to call to order tonight is the City of Lawrenceburg Board of Works. If I could get a roll call, Mr. Fetty.
Sure. Board Member Tony Abbott.
Here.
Board Member Tommy Roulette.
Present.
City Attorney Del Well. Here. President Kelly Milan.
Here.
And myself.
Okay, any announcements out of you gentlemen tonight on this meeting? I don't have anything for this particular meeting.
I have none. Mayor.
If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes from the previous meeting.
So moved.
Second,
I'll second it, Mayor.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. New business. Mr. Richardson. Guest management system for the Lawrenceburg Community Center.
On double duty.
And IT person. Or audio visual.
So this is a project that we've actually been working on with the IT department. One of the things we have an issue with at the center is getting everybody to sign in that comes in and out, and also to agree to the hold harmless agreement that legally we have in place. This system would provide us with 2 stands, 2 iPads, and then, of course, the proprietary software that would keep track of people signing in and signing out as they go to and from the building, would take a picture of them that would go along with it as they come in on the iPad, and we would be able to track everybody in and out much easier. Would be better for the police department. I spoke with Bryson about it. He okayed it, blessed it. We had a meeting a few weeks ago with the Verkada people. That's the ones who would operate the system. They answered all of Bryson's questions to his satisfaction. He's okay with everything on the back end. He asked a lot of technical questions as far as to, how it's going to be, how the information is stored, who has access to the information, and whatnot. The second, and what you'll see here from Aptech, which is the company that Verkada would use to install, the first page is the actual guest management system itself. And again, that's the Aptech quote. What you would want to look at is the 1-year workplace license, which is $3,150 per unit. There would be 2 units, so that would be $6,300 per year for that cost. Coming down to the bottom, I had given you some incorrect numbers on that summation sheet that I provided to you. I included one of the taxes that should have been included, so that is not correct. The total install cost for everything, including the camera and the sign-in system itself, would be $6,807.57. And then the yearly fee for the camera and the sign-in guest management system would be $6,474.13 per year. The second page is the 5-megapixel indoor camera. That would be placed above the sign-in and sign-out desk, so that we could better track people coming in and out of the building. Now, I had them separate that out because that's not something that we necessarily have to do. Bryson just thought it would be an added benefit to us because that would be able to give in-house access to review footage of a camera. Currently, we have cameras. We can see them in real time. but we cannot review any footage on the camera without going through the Lawrenceburg Police Department. This would give us the ability to go back and see it ourselves in real time.
Questions, guys?
Okay, so that, on that second page, that licensing fee of $174.13 is in that number as well?
That's correct, yeah.
That
So you're,
would be yearly.
that's a yearly fee.
So what would the correct number be for the combined on them?
$6,474.13 per year.
How much did you say?
$6,474.13.
That is the combined total?
That's combined total.
Okay.
The upfront cost for installation altogether would be $6,807.57.
Guys, I spoke with Bryson about this. He likes the system. It's more of a safety enhancement down there as well. It'll also red flag people that maybe have something on their record.
Correct. It has the ability to do that. There's a lot of things on the back end. And one of the reasons we chose Verkada is because they have a lot of proprietary software on the back end that can be turned on or turned off.
Yeah, because I see you have 3 different quotes there, so the one you're recommending is a Verkada.
Correct.
Right.
The only question I have, we used to be able to go back and see the videos at the pool, but years ago we did away with that for a reason and just do it for the police station. Is there any reason why we did that we should do the same here, keep it the same, or?
Well, no, well, I honestly, I don't know that I think as Bryson mentioned, when Richard mentioned that, it's not a necessity. It's just an option. If we want to do that, that's $476.22, right?
Correct.
Yes, we did do away with that years ago because when we went to the new cameras around the whole city, everything was put on the same camera system. And I think the pool, I don't know if there's another spot in the city that we had some, if you remember, we had some old analogs that.
The old rapid fire.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you could pull from that camera and stuff like that, but all that's been done away with. It's all newest technology and things like that. I don't know that it's a necessity.
It is not a necessity. It would just be an added benefit to us. If somebody said they came into the building with a particular item, we could go back and review it really quick and say, oh, okay, you had this. Or if something comes up missing, we might be able to go back and quickly review it walking out the door. But that is not a necessity. And like I said, that's why I had them pull that out separate from the overall quote.
And what we normally do with the footage at the police department, it's mainly used if there's a criminal activity.
Yeah.
Right.
Things like that. So it's probably not a horrible benefit for you guys.
I didn't know if there was a legal reason that we quit doing that.
Not that I'm aware of. No, we vetted all that back when we changed the whole camera system.
It was an old hard drive system that only store for like 30 days max.
Yeah.
Is part of this patron management as well, Richard? Is that part of how you're trying to manage the people that are coming in, not just the safety side of things?
Oh, yeah.
What we will do is collect other pieces of information from individuals so that we can have better contact with the patrons that are using the facility. So we'll be back. I'll come back at the second meeting this month. I'd like to present the fitness proposals that we have for the fitness center, so that will be coming up. I know the athletic club recently closed. We've seen an increase just this week of about 5 or 6 people that are coming down in the morning now because that athletic club is no longer available. So we do, we get quite a few people down there per day, per month.
But this is exactly what I think you're asking, Judge, but it is a management system for the patrons. It'll be a way where I think, like right now, I think when you have an underage person, we don't have always the best contact information for that person. This is going to be a way to where we're going to have that in the system, right? Is that?
That is the idea, to get up to that point, yes.
So if a younger child comes in or something happens, you can go right to that and have the name to, or the number to call, a parent or a legal guardian.
Correct, that's the idea.
I got you.
Does the police station have access to this system as well, as in regards to?
We talked with Verkada in regards to that. What we want to do is create a separate sign-in for the police station so that they will be able to access it with their own login information.
Although, you know, we already have cameras down there that are there.
And the police are very good about letting us, you know, if we need to review footage, they do that for us very quickly. We've not had any issue. This would just be a way to take some onus off of the front desk staff at the police station.
Correct.
Does this also, like, say somebody comes in, they've got a red flag or something wrong with them, or they've done something, would it bring this up to show you that these people have come in, where you guys would know to watch them, or?
The way the system would work is there would be two stands and 2 iPads that would be forward-facing to the patrons as they come in. On the back side, we would set up either a laptop or another computer station that the front desk person would be watching as the people go in and out. So they'll see in real time, Lenny Fryman has signed in. Ideally, and then, of course, for Lenny, you're right, it would be a red flag. Get Richard immediately. No, yeah, that ability is there to turn that. And again, these are all things that we can turn on or turn off. So I would envision as we brought it in, we would start out slow, just, you know, get the basic information and then just kind of work our way through it and see what's beneficial to us, what's not beneficial to us. But yes, it would have the ability to flag people. And if we kicked a particular, a lot of times we have to kick youth out for a week or two, you know, they act up, they misbehave, as youth often do. So those would be red flagged. You know, if John Doe got kicked out for a few days, that would be red flagged in the system so that if a particular worker was not aware that that took place, they would know it as soon as that name came up and picture.
Once this, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Tom.
Once this is installed, what, is this gonna be the same amount every year? As far as, it will be the same?
It's the 6,000
Okay.
or 7413, Tom.
Gotcha.
And Bryson is gonna be paying that out of the IT line item.
Now, with this setup, let's say we wanted to put it in different buildings that we've got that the public are in. Can it be access to them also, or do they have to pay the same fee as this?
Well, what you're paying for is the proprietary software that's on the backside. So you're not really, it's not the hardware that matters, it's that software. But when you put a piece of hardware in, it's got the software connected to it. So each building would need to have that. There is the ability to tie everything in together and create multiple sign-in points at different buildings. What Verkada is famous for actually is doing that. They have a whole system that tracks people as they walk through buildings. They do a lot for government security. So if you went into a particular government office, you would find a person at the front desk, and then you could follow them through the whole facility through the cameras with the facial recognition. We don't intend to be quite that stringent, but that capability is there to do that. So you could put it essentially in any building that you wanted to, and it would be part of that same system. But you would have to buy that software licensing fee.
Do people sign in and out? Do they sign out too? Over there, or just sign in?
People do sign in and out over there.
I mean, do they do the sign out part too?
Most of them do. It really, what we need is that sign in. We need that timestamp when they sign in. Jean is a wonderful customer, wonderful patron. She always signs in and out, very legible on her name. You can read it. Not had any issues with Lenny. He's always signing.
I got out to the car the other day and remembered I didn't sign out, but I didn't go back.
Uh-oh.
Red flagger.
Red flag,
We'll give it a pass this time.
red flag.
But usually I do.
But they're supposed to sign in, and when they come in, put a timestamp, do it when they go out. This will be, a lot of it for me is legibility. So if I get the sign in, I get them every day in the morning. They get scanned into me. I file those away on the computer at the police scene, and we can send them over electronically. But again, you're at the will of somebody walking in, and you've got to be able to read their handwriting. A lot of the elderly patrons have an issue writing clearly, and then some of the younger patrons, they do as well. But with this, you're just typing your name, first and last name out on an iPad. If you want to give us your email, we'd like to have that so we can send you email information about the facility. And then, the idea also is to have this broken down into sectors as well. So CASA uses our facility, so they would have their own separate button to press and sign in for CASA. The retired teacher sewers, when they come down, they would press retired teacher sewing, and they would type in their information. That'll help us figure out who's doing what, where they're doing it, how long they're doing it. It'll be a great benefit for us.
Good data retention.
I think the cameras would be nice, though, just for the fact that you got 50 people in there, and all of a sudden you look at your list, you only got 20 people signed in. It's like, wait a minute now. Who's not signing in? Who's not taking advantage? I mean, who's not doing this the right way?
And that's why, you're right, you are correct. And then also, and that's one of the reasons why we want to go with 2 iPads as well. A lot of the times, you wouldn't need 2 iPads, but there are times down there where you have heavy foot traffic, you would need the 2 iPads. It also has the ability to forgo the iPad system, and you can print a QR code where the patron can scan the QR code and they can sign in right on their telephone.
Technology.
That's pretty cool.
Okay. Any other questions, guys?
Have none, Mayor.
If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the Verkada system, management system, at a initial cost of $6,807.57, and then renewable maintenance fee, renewable fee of $6,474.13 a year.
I'll
So
make a
moved.
motion.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks, Richard.
All right, thank you all, appreciate it.
Did you do anything with the camera part, or just,
The camera was included in
oh,
that.
it was
In
included?
that,
I thought it was
in that
separate.
number. He said it was the same. That's what the total of the $6,474.
Oh, okay, I thought it was the same.
If not, what?
That's what
He can buy that out of maintenance. Okay.
Council money.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, guys, I got one new business that didn't make the, because it just sort of came up this week, and that I should have got it on sooner. I'm just asking this group if I could, if we could go ahead and advertise for a part-time clerical for 1 year. It's be 25 hours a week. Could be some additional,
25 a week? That's not.
25 hours, you mean?
25 hours.
Yeah,
You said $25 a week.
No, I said
he said
25 hours.
He said hours.
Yeah, 25 hours.
Yeah,
Yeah, $25 a week, yeah.
that'd be good. You did good, Mayor.
We've got, well, the, Katie is gonna be leaving to go to the Air Force. Hopefully right after the first year, she's waiting on her time, but, and then we may have some, other issues coming up that we're gonna need some help. And, some medical issues and things coming up, so, I mean, we're gonna need, somebody part-time. We got, the salary ordinance covers this, based upon what Mark has done with, his part-time folks over at, clerk treasurer. We'll put this out to social media and, hopefully it will be, somebody here in town that might be able to fit the bill and be looking for a few hours a week, so. Any questions?
Nope.
I have none, Mayor.
If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second?
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Old business, we got Mr. Todd, Verdon maintenance renewal invoice.
Yes, Your Honor. I believe in your packet, you'll see the Verdon, it's kind of our typical annual renewal.
Yep.
I know, I think Mr. Roulette actually contacted our salesperson up there, and they finally got us
Yeah, got us,
in-depth,
yes, yep.
good information, what quality of service they perform.
One thing I'd like to add to it is, we've done these for years. And could we ever get before and after pictures on some of this equipment?
It's probably been a while, it's probably been dated. We used to do that quite a bit pre-COVID on a checkoff list. I mean, before and after, you're gonna see a gloss shine on a bell versus a dull shine on a bell.
No, that's
And a lot of
I'd
them,
like to see that, you know, what's being done to them,
Right.
you know?
Well, you was speaking with Lance, I believe it was, or just emailing. He stated that you actually sign off on them when
Correct.
they do the work. Yeah.
correct.
Normally, you know they're around because we got to supply the lift.
Lifts and open doorways and get them access.
And I think I asked before, but this is the Walnut Church clock also?
Zion Church per the
Zion
agreement.
Church, yeah.
The arch, bell tower,
Both arches, firehouse.
firehouse. Yep.
Yep. This total for next year would be $21,870.
70?
70, correct. 21870,
That's for all locations.
Correct.
all 4 locations, yes.
Okay. Any additional questions, guys?
I have none, Mayor.
If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the Verdon maintenance renewal invoice at a total of $21,870 for 2024.
So moved.
Second?
I'll second it, Mayor.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The next item I have down is the LPD SOPs. Did you guys get a chance to read through those?
Well, yes,
We
indeed.
had them on the,
Every word.
yeah, we
Not
had them on the last meeting.
Not every word, but I did my homework.
Yeah, yeah,
Seen what the changes were, what was combined, and what was removed.
okay, well,
I'm good with it.
all right.
So if Mr. Abbott's good with them, I'll entertain a motion to accept them. And just to add for the public, we do now have cameras on our officers.
Yes,
Body-worn cameras. That was part of the new SOP,
that was a new, yeah.
part of it, yep.
I'll second that motion.
I think we're passing this on to
With a favorable.
council with a favorable,
Yep, I should
okay,
put that in that.
okay.
I'd like to pass this on to the council with a favorable recommendation. Thank you for
Second?
clarifying that.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, guys. I don't have any other additional old business for this meeting. If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right. I'd like to call to order the City of Lawrenceburg Utility Board meeting for December 4th, 2023. Another roll call, Mr. Fetty.
All right, Tony Abbott,
Here.
Board Member Justin Noppert,
Yes, sir.
Board Member Lenny Fryman,
Here.
Board Member Tommy Roulette,
Present.
Board Member Brett Von Duren,
Yes, sir.
City Attorney Dale Weldon.
Here.
We got Utility Director Billy Kennett. Here. We got President Kelly Malone.
Here.
And myself.
Okay, any announcements, Director?
Just one real quick, just really proud of the utility department, the float they put together for the Christmas parade.
You have to rub it into everybody else.
Yeah, they go all out for that. And,
Now, they only got second place this year.
yeah, yeah. You know, one of the things that Coach Meter taught us back in the day, if you're going to do it, win it.
Yeah.
And when they came to me and said, can we put a float in a parade? I said, one thing, we got to win it every year. And so they bring it. They put a lot of time and effort into it, and it was a fabulous float. And they just brought it through downtown and took it down to Civic Park to get pictures of it in the dark.
That's what that was.
And,
I just
yeah.
went by.
I just saw it out there, yeah.
That was
I saw
impressive.
And,
Go by my
and
office.
we're going to participate in Connie Canoe's parade that they have, so we're going to leave it together for that. And, you know, just a lot of great stuff. And it's great for the camaraderie, you know, not just within LMU and our different departments, but also we have a very stiff competition with the city garage, and, you know, we have a lot of fun with it. So I'm sure you'll mention more about that, but I just wanted to give the props to the LMU department and all the things they did for that parade and float.
I commented to the Civil City if they would have had snap-on wrenches hanging from their Christmas tree, that they may have got first place. And they said, does that mean we can buy them next year, Tom? No.
That was a hard no.
I want to say though, I heard that LMU's like, is that movie MASH? Because I heard they were doing a lot of scavenger hunting over.
Oh, yeah, it's all used equipment.
And everybody, I said, what's wrong with you guys? They said, they stole our stuff over here, and how do I said, and you didn't catch them? I thought that was pretty good.
They went and got 2 old fire plugs out of the scrapyard and painted them, and, you know, all the hardware for the cross arms and the hardware on the cross arms for the lights, that's all used stuff.
Good deal.
It was really good,
Yeah, very
Okay.
creative.
yes.
Good parade, actually.
That's the only announcement I had.
All right. If no other announcements, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. New business, I want to bring to your attention, we've been talking about this, I think we started the conversation about 6 months ago, with the addition of the new technology in the utility department with the GIS and AMI metering and such, of SCADA coming on board. The need to train someone to be able to do all that. And then I think Mr. Kennett brought it to our attention, you know, if we were to hire somebody from outside, it was going to be quite expensive to bring them on as a full-time employee. So it was decided to offer the training to a young lady that works in the utility department, and she's fulfilled that. And so we spoke with the union about doing an MOU, since union negotiations are in 2024, but we wanted to commit to our 6-month time frame that we had all talked about. And so I'll just read this memo of understanding. It's the parties met and discussed creating a new position in the Utilities Department. The parties have agreed to the position of GIS mapping / AMI metering / SCADA technician. The base rate is $32.90. The job description is attached. The position will be posted for bid in accordance with the collective bargaining agreement. The parties intend to incorporate the new job in the successor contract, which will be next year. So I guess what I'm asking for is approval of that memo of understanding, and then that will give Ms. Felix the ability to go ahead and post that position.
Now, for clarification, did we just remove the CAD from what was in the existing union contract?
Yeah, mainly yes, mainly yes, because we figured that that person was not doing any CAD
Yep.
work.
Yeah.
So we didn't want to, that's why we could have used there's some language already in the contract book for it, but we just wanted to make sure we were calling it what it is.
Right.
And we rewrote we didn't rewrite it, we tweaked the job description to make it more applicable to this position as well.
Yep. Okay. Questions, you guys, anybody? If not, I'd entertain a motion to approve the MOU for the GIS mapping, AMI metering, SCADA technician position.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, guys.
Now, when we should
yes.
be posting this?
We'll get her to post it tomorrow.
Well,
Yeah, I'll get her to post it tomorrow.
thank you, Mayor.
Yep. And Director Kennett, you got next item is capacitor repairs for Hollywood Substation.
Yeah, so this was a little bit confusing on the quotations, and Tommy, thank you for pointing out some of the discrepancies on the quotes. We were able to go through and sort it out and settle it out to make sure we were reviewing the bids properly and make a recommendation to the most responsive and best bidder. We did reach out to 3 vendors, Powerline Supply, Brownstown Electric, and Annixter. Powerline Supply provided a quotation, Brownstown provided a quotation, and we did not hear back from Annixter on this. So this is part of what we're doing, even on a kind of a low level pricing material quote. We try to get 3 bids on it whenever we can. What caused the confusion, Powerline Supply, they quoted So there's two parts of this. You have the capacitors and you have the fuses. They quoted the capacitors, correct? There's 11 capacitors. But when they looked at the fuses, they only quoted 7 fuses for the 11 capacitors. And so they missed a line item. They were short on 4 of the fuses with this. The Brownstown quote had everything in it. They have the 11 capacitors and 11 fuses. So it was a comprehensive total bid package the way we wanted it. In reviewing this, the reason we didn't go back to Powerline Supply and say, hey, you had a mistake, we looked at it and their price was going to be more than Brownstown when they added in the additional fuses that they needed. Another big thing was Powerline Supply's quote was a 100-week lead time on the equipment, and Brownstown was 30 weeks. And what caused this is these capacitors, it's there for power quality issues and to help us with our billing. It helps reduce our monthly bill that we receive from IMPA on the power factor. And these things haven't been working for a long time. And we had IMPA come in and do a substation evaluation on all 3 of our subs, and they found that these capacitors were not working properly. And so this is a result of that study that we did and getting these capacitors back up and running. So our recommendation is to go with the Brownstown quote for the capacitors and the fuses. The total price for the capacitors was $8,772.15, and the fuses was $6,248.54 for a total of $15,020.69.
Questions? If not, I entertain a motion to approve the capacitor repairs for Hollywood Station from Brownstown Electric at a total of $15,020.69.
So moved, Mayor.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next one is electric meter testing program.
Yes, sir. We're in the process of changing out 100% of our electric meters as well as 100% of our water meters. We are just about finished with both those programs. We've been working on them for 3 years now. We did it on a phased basis to help on cash flow. One of the situations we were in with electric meters, and the same thing with water meters, we had not tested any of those meters for many years. And, one of the things that, you do get some swing in the accuracy of these meters. So it's very important to stay on top of it and make sure you're testing them, especially these are the high revenue electric meters that we want to test. There's a total of, gotta put my glasses on, 274 meters that have current transformers and potential transformers on it. Those are special metering items, so it's not just a plug and play meter. These have CTs and PTs on them, and we have a total of 274 on our system. What we'd like to do is put these on a 3-year rotation, so do a third of them each year, again, just to cut down on the amount of cash. And we reached out to Wesco, and that is we buy our meters from Wesco, and they have a service where they come out and test these meters. And they had tested, and one of the things, Mayor, that you did before, I believe that was before I came on board, you had 100%. You said, we're going to go out and test them. We haven't tested these meters, and we're going to go out and test 100% of the meters. And Annixter's the one that came in and did that program probably 4 years ago, and we found a lot of good information off that. And we want to keep the testing on an every 3-year basis. So we're touching these special meters, the high revenue meters, once every 3 years, just to make sure they're staying in compliance and everything is good. So with the 274 meters, you divide that by 3 years, that's 91 meters. Based on the testing that they've done in the past, we expect it to take about 40 hours of testing time. The way they quote this, it's $108.90 per hour, and then 55 cents per mile, and then we also have to pay hotel and traveling expenses. So the recommendation is to approve the Wesco contract to come in and test the 91 electric meters.
This is all three-phase meters.
Well, it's three-phase, and there's some single-phase that
Oh, is
have the
it?
CTs on it. Not very many, but there are a few.
Okay.
But the majority of them are the three-phase.
All right.
Do you have a number what the single phase would be by chance? I know you got, it looks like they have, excuse me, 91 three-phase field services, but I didn't see any number in the single phase.
Let's see.
Unless that, if it's actually 91 and you do the math, it'd be 183, I guess,
78.
of the single phase? Or you're saying you're doing 91 meters?
Yeah, I think it's 91 total, and out of that, there's going to be some single phase, correct?
Yeah,
I
there's,
think there's 274 total.
That's what he was saying, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
there's 78 what we call large power meters. Those are above 50 kVA. And then there's 196 meters that are three-phase or single-phase. But the majority of those are going to be three-phase. There's very few single-phase meters that we have that have CTs on them.
But single phase, if they do them same time as three phase, we get charged as
Yeah,
three phase?
yeah, when they come in, they charge us because it takes a special technician to be able to do a three-phase. And so they'll do both three-phase and single-phase at the same time, so you pay for that.
Pay the higher price.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but they're
high
paying their
dollar
knock to 2 out an hour. So essentially for a 40-hour work week, so.
Yeah. So we're estimating if it's based on 40 hours at $108.90 an hour, around 4,356 to do the testing. And then you'll have the mileage charge plus the per diem, if you will, the hotel and the meals and things like that.
I mean, what kind of meals we talking?
Yeah, yeah,
Strictly Big Macs.
yep.
Taco Bell.
I was thinking more like White Castle.
Some Wendy's 5 for $5?
Crave case.
The thought process is we do this every 3 years. We don't get into the situation we was in 4 years ago, whether we don't know if it's working or not.
Correct.
And
Yep.
Are we getting the revenue we should, or are we not? You know, this just allows us to stay on top of our game.
Well, on the other side of it, it identifies if we're maybe overcharging our customers.
Yep,
So,
it can go both ways.
okay. Any other questions? I'll entertain a motion to approve the agreement with Wesco to test our three-phase and single-phase at $108.90 an hour.
I'll move, Your Honor.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item is the NISC on-site evaluation for 2024.
Yes, sir. So we went through a pretty detailed process of looking at our billing system. Back in, I believe it was 2019, we made a billing system change to a company called NISC. And when we went through that transition, it's a pretty lengthy and tough transition to change from one billing system to another. It's not easy at all. And we didn't have our eye on the ball when we made that transition back in the 2019 timeframe. On top of that, NISC didn't have their eye on the ball either. So there was a lot of things that were missed when we did that transition. A lot of things were not done right. When I came in as the utility director, I evaluated it, and I seen, some discrepancies and some things were not right. And the thought process was always that we're going to change billing systems. We're going to take our time. We're going to evaluate the other systems that are out there. We're going to choose what's right for us, and then we're going to move on. So we were not focused on fixing much stuff with NISC, thinking that eventually we're going to move on to another system. We went through about a 6-month process where we interviewed, we started out with 10 different billing systems. We evaluated them internally. We narrowed it down to 5. We brought those 5 companies in. These are 5 companies outside of NISC because we already knew what we had with NISC. And we evaluated those 5 companies, and through that whole thing, we decided NISC is the best system for us. And so now we're focused on, let's go back and do it right. There's a lot of things that we have to not start over, but in some cases we are starting over with the processes. So we put a improvement program in front of NISC and said, here's the problems we're having, here's what's happened, here's the things you did wrong in the startup, here's the things we did wrong in the startup. Let's both own this, and let's get this figured out and get it straightened out. So NISC agreed with what we laid out, our business case. They came back to us and said, we'll bring in a specialist that does this, that comes in and evaluates systems and help customers get better. It's normally a $5,000 expense plus travel cost and per diem to have a NISC rep come in. They've agreed to waive that $5,000 fee if we pay for the travel expenses. And so the proposal you have in front of you is to do that. They're waiving the fee, and then
$1,900.
yeah, you knew I was going to struggle finding that, didn't you? So that's what we would like to agree to. It will help us. We've made tremendous improvements to this system over the last 3 years. This would be the final step to getting things right and to making everything right. So our recommendation is to enter into this agreement with NISC, have their customer care specialists come in on site, work with our billing department personnel, and get everything squared away and straightened out.
Questions? If not, entertain a motion to approve the NISC on-site evaluation, cost of $1,900.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Thanks, Director. No other new business?
No, sir.
Old business, we got new coffee shop sewer extension update.
Yeah, and Mario, the new coffee shop was, I believe, coming to a planning commission meeting today. Do you know if that happened?
Wednesday. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So just to give you an update, we had brought in front of you extending the sewer main towards this new coffee shop, and we had bid pricing, and we approved the bid. And you asked us to hold off until the coffee shop got further along in the process. I thought they were coming this morning, and I just wanted to update you. Once that is through the planning commission, we're going to go ahead and start with that sewer main extension. That way everything's done so that when the coffee shop does start their installation, everything will be ready for them. They don't have to worry about us putting up that.
Are they coming to the planning commission to get their plans approved?
Yeah,
Is
they
that
got
what
a
they're
site plan.
Okay.
I'll send you that site plan, Billy, from the packet,
Okay.
so you can see it. Yeah.
The second thing is,
It's not a car wash?
Mayor.
it's a little bit of an odd situation because they set in on the tail end of our system. And so from it's a pretty good ways from where the coffee shop's going to the manhole. And the manhole sits out on US 50 road right away. We're requiring them to build that lateral from the property into the manhole. When they proposed that to Indiana Department of Transportation, NDOT would not grant them the right to install that sewer lateral inside the road right-of-way. They said it had to be a public entity to have utilities in the road right-of-way. So what Dell is working on is an agreement where the coffee shop still builds that lateral into the manhole, and then they would turn over the ownership of that lateral to LMU. And so we would own and maintain the portion that's inside the road right-of-way.
Sounds a little bit like what we talked about a couple weeks ago, right? With the ownership of where the
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
sewer line or the lateral ends up at the curb.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, so I just wanted to give you an update of what was going on with that, and as soon as it goes through the planning commission, you know, you've already approved the project. You just asked us to wait until we made sure that this thing was gonna be a go. And once, Mario and John says, yeah, it's been approved, it's gonna be a go, we'll go ahead and extend that sewer main, and that way the manhole's there, and we'll be ahead of the game.
Did we discuss, would the pricing be the same, or would they, with the time in between, would it be more?
Yeah, I believe the pricing's gonna be the same. If it does change, we'll come back to
Yeah.
you with that pricing change.
And that's understandable.
But I believe they'll hold that price. It's Terry Sloan that's
NT.
doing that project, yeah.
Any other questions? Okay, any other old business?
That's all I have.
If none, I entertain a motion to approve the claims.
So moved.
Lenny, second?
Second.
Tony, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion to approve all payroll reports and checks once properly certified.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Motion to adjourn this meeting.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Like to call to order City of Lawrenceburg Council meeting for December 4th, 2023. If everyone could rise for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Read.
One last time here, Mr. Fetty.
All right, we got Councilperson Tony Abbott.
Here.
Councilperson Justin Noppert.
Sure.
Councilperson Tommy Roulette.
Present.
Councilperson Lenny Fryman.
Here.
Councilperson Brett Bondurant.
Yes, sir.
Attorney Dale Weldon.
Here.
Mayor Kelly Malone.
Here.
And myself.
Okay. Announcements, board report, streets, alleys, and curbs, downtown area, Mr. Abbott.
We're good.
Streets, alleys, and curbs, Ludlow Hill area, Mr. Fryman.
All good, sir.
Finance Department, Mr. Bondurant.
Nothing to report, Mayor.
Parks and Playgrounds, Mr. Noppert.
Nothing, sir.
Fire Department, Mr. Roulette.
No report, Mayor.
All right. A couple of announcements. Just want to thank everybody that, and Main Street, especially, and all the people that participated in the parade this past Saturday. It was really another great kickoff to Winter Wonderland, and expecting good things this season as well. I wanted to make sure you guys are aware that tomorrow at 5 o'clock will be a utility work session, open to the public. So at 5 o'clock, if you can't make it, let Director Kennett know if you can't make it. Just wanted to fill you in. I had a great meeting with the foreman and heads of the departments today, and we were all in here, actually, and Mario and Billy were in here as well, Mr. Fetty. We talked about, you know, coming up, we got negotiations, which, that just, every 4 years that happens. But the thing is Ms. Felix and I were talking about insurance rates. Obviously, they go up. We always want to make sure that our employees are getting a fair wage and great benefits and things like that. One way we decided, and what prompted this was, I was driving by after the manger scenes were put up. I don't know if you had a chance to see them, the one at Newtown and then one up here at the sign. But I noticed they were brand new, and I text Brad and I said, "Hey Brad," I said, "Where'd we get the new manger scenes?" Because he always makes me aware if we're going to buy something, right? And he says, "We made them after the last season, we made them over the winter." And I'm going to tell you, if you haven't seen them, they are, we got some talented people here in the city. And I attribute that to the hiring practice that has been instituted for quite some time now in our Civil City Department especially. The hiring practice has been to try to get the most qualified applicant we can that has a multitude of different skills and talents. And I'll tell you, we got some really very talented people. And in the meeting today, I just challenged them all that their first thought whenever we have a project is, can we do it in-house? Okay, because if you do it in-house, and Mr. Fetty brought this up during the meeting, if we do it in-house, number one, you don't go out and get 3 quotes, okay? We know we're gonna get the best quote because we're already paying for the labor, right? It's already our overhead. All we gotta do is go out and get materials. And we really, I could go through, we got people that are welders on site, or on staff now. We've got landscape experts on staff now. We've got carpenters. We've got electricians that are, these are all people that have a lot of talents. Now, and I'll tell the public the same thing I told the staff today. Don't go out and say that we're getting rid of contractors, because that's not it either, because there's always going to be times when we're going to have to use contractors, okay? But we really need to, if we can do things in-house, we're going to do them in-house because we're going to make up for those costs that are increasing on our fixed costs, and things like that. And I'll tell you, for the most part, they do a great job of that anyway, always looking in-house first. But I just, it was just a reiteration, especially after, we got end of the year expenses and things like that coming up. And we just wanted to approach that subject again. And I'll tell you, the department heads, foremans, were all very receptive. And I think what we're going to see as council and everything, you're going to see some claims that maybe in the past we may have had to go out and get a contractor to do on certain things. And I'm not talking about big projects. I'm talking about in-house projects. But we will still have a need to use contractors. But there's some slower months that we have throughout the year, and that's the time we're going to do stuff in-house. I'll give you one more example. We used to rent this, what they call riot fence, that is in front of the stage for all of our big concert events. And I think, I don't know what we paid. It was $1,000 to rent it for 2 days or something. And it was all rickety and everything. Last year, after the summer before last, guys came to me, Brad and a couple of the welders, and they said, "Hey, we'd like to build that this winter." And I said, "Well, get me a price, what it's going to cost us," and things like that. Well, they came back, we had the metal in-house, we already had the metal. They had to buy $400 worth of materials. And that riot fence, I told them they ought to go in business, not on company time, but selling that stuff, that thing, because it's the nicest around. But that's how talented these people are. And so we're going to start showcasing that. But more importantly, they want to be showcased. That's what I got out of the meeting. And I just thought it was important to share with you guys, because I get asked. I know you guys ask, hey, this claim, that claim, whatever. And you know what? For the most part, they do a dynamite job of doing things, in-house, and but it was just a reiteration of their thought process, and I thought it went very well. So I just want to share that with you. I don't want to prolong it, but just remember tomorrow night at 5 o'clock, you got the utility work session. Any other announcements from you guys?
No.
Okay. If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting.
So moved, Mayor.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. New business, Dave O'Mara Company, Dowdy Road, storm pay request.
And while they're coming to the podium to present, so this was a part of a larger project, and this was a project that was paid in part with a grant and was bid out to be completed. This and they passed around a photograph of some additional work that was done, and Dave O'Mara Corporation first submitted this as a change order for consideration because they did the work, kind of installed the equipment that they'll explain better than I can, and then kind of finished the project and then presented it to us after the fact. We had to close the grant, close the project was done, and so I asked these folks to allow us to be able to close out the grant and the project to present this work as kind of a standalone for consideration by council. So and they've got it broken out with the additional work and equipment minus some equipment that they paid for. And so this is a standalone project, part of the project that's already been completed. And Dave O'Mara Corporation and Mario and these folks will explain are asking for consideration as to whether or not the city council would want to approve payment for this project, but it is by itself. It doesn't have anything to do with the larger Dowdy Road project. That project's closed out, paid, grant's closed. We had to do that because of the grant. We didn't want to put that in jeopardy by holding out. So This is just completely separate from that. It's not a change order anymore. It's just a separate project that they're asking us to consider.
But we as council would have to appropriate the money for this.
Yes.
Correct.
Well, we did approve, and I don't know how that appropriation will work. We did approve money in
In the
general to
last
pay for it at the
appropriation.
in the additional appropriation. So I think we could use that, and Mark will answer that. Not
Yeah,
me.
that money was it could be used, yes.
Yeah.
Can we
So-
do it as a standalone project without being bid out?
Well, that's what, yes, because they've already done the work, and they're asking you to, they've already done the work and installed the materials, and they're just asking you to consider
Reimbursed it.
paying them for it. You don't have to, and it's not part of the project, and it's not a change order, so it's not approved as an addition or an increase to the original project. It's just something that they did, and again, they'll explain it better than me. They thought this was something that the city could benefit from. They were already in the process of doing it, so they did it. And one of the things that's important, it's not you guys necessarily, is that we've been put in some positions, and look, change orders are part of construction projects, and we all kind of understand that. But just to let you know, the reason we've kind of put this off and delayed it, and we're kind of, having it be its own thing, which we appreciate, is we just want to be in a position where with projects like this, we're given a chance to get ahead of it. We do understand that change orders happen, but and we understand that there's a gap between when the government can catch up and we can call a meeting and have me review it and have these guys get up to speed. That's usually a much longer lead time than people in the field like you and Mario are out there, doing the work. But we don't want to put these guys in a position where a project gets bid, we approve the specs, and the timing and the price, and then it comes back later that, that's increased before it happens. And so we understand the reality is, our vendors, our construction managers are doing great work for us, and we appreciate that, but we do want to be able to say, okay, this is what we've approved, this is how much it is, and if it changes, we want to be able to do it in advance. So
And-
Go ahead.
For clarification, though, you just stated that this is not considered a change order, which it was in our October 16th minutes, or our packets, I'm sorry, and our November 6th. And now you're saying it's not, but when I read the letter that I received from Structure Point, it says that it's a change order recommendation, plus the recent email that I've gotten from, it looks like from someone from Dave O'Meara, is also calling it Dowdy Road Stormwater Change Order.
In that change order, so procedurally, it was presented as a change order, which kept the project open. It got tabled it got tabled for 2 different meetings.
Correct.
We had to close the grant out.
Correct.
And so the way I viewed it, just legally and procedurally, it was a change order that was presented, it wasn't approved, so it's not accepted. And so instead of approving it as a change order, that change order died because it wasn't ever approved. And now we have an opportunity to treat it by itself rather than holding the project open as a change order. And it's a change order that was given to us after the work had already been done. That was my point.
Right, but, going back to change orders too, this one was not brought to our attention, and it is dated September 20th, 2022. Now, I was not present at this BOW meeting, but in August 7th of this year, the mayor and Tony approved a $7,500 change order, which I feel was the proper process for the concrete and the curbing, which Mr. Todd actually took me over and showed.
And those were units that were
Yeah.
part of the contract.
So they were in the existing contract.
He's talking about the asphalt,
Yep,
concrete, and the.
yeah, where you concreted, which
Those
I
were
understood
actually
that, you
units,
explained
yes.
that to me.
Yes.
And it was still, so it was per unit broken out, plus it was presented to us before the work was done. This is different than that and definitely worth considering, but as far as calling it a change order and
Okay.
keeping the grant open, it didn't seem like that
This,
was the appropriate.
this is something that shouldn't happen,
Right.
okay?
Yeah.
So I think, and I think we put things in place to where it's not gonna happen.
So-
You're exactly right. But the thing, we had to close the grant out.
Correct, I understand that.
And I think what O'Meara's are doing right now is asking us to approve, listen, we pay our bills.
Correct.
We have a process that should have been followed, and I don't know that the process was followed the way we should have followed the process. But I think the ask is tonight is to pay for the work that was done and an amount of, what, $37,999.96. Is that correct?
That's correct.
I think that's in a nutshell, that's what it is.
Okay, so
This is the second one we've had this to us now. The other one was the fill for the old Firestone building.
Yeah.
It's twice now.
Yeah, after the fact, change order, and
okay, my question would be, when this was engineered and bids were set out, was there talk of putting this material in there to hold back, or is this something, once the job was started, it was recommended you put this piling in there?
So this sheet pile wall is our method to shore that slope at Dowdy Road.
Correct?
So it's not engineered by the folks at Structure Point that stamped the plans. So this was our method to do so. We have the equipment to install. So it wasn't until we were awarded and you have some investigations, we found the water line to verify the method that we would choose, which was a sheet pile wall. So it's a driven steel piling wall.
And Evan, also, wasn't it you were gonna purchase used sheet piling?
This is all new material.
It's what's in there, but according to Rob, he was gonna purchase used piling, and it wasn't available and it wasn't gonna be available for 2 or 3 months.
Another option is to rent material. That is, the suppliers do offer that up.
Right.
And we had to have certain lengths, so we needed at least 20 footers. They didn't have, my recollection is they did not have that available. So we purchased 40 footers, cut them in half so we could drive 20-foot sheets.
Was the original intent to remove them once the construction was completed?
That's correct.
And so would you say it was unforeseen that they had, that you would recommend that we leave those in there?
It was actually recommendation engineering and O'Meara to leave them in place
After the fact?
after they were driven,
After
correct?
they were driven in?
Correct.
But again, my question, was it in the job bid that this would be done? Or did you take it upon yourself just to do it for that reason?
Yeah, that was their means and methods.
Okay.
Yes.
You're saying they're gonna shore it with the pylons as that was how they were gonna do it, but originally, correct me if I'm wrong, you were gonna remove those.
That's right.
So the engineers actually said it actually would be best for the
Leave 'em.
That's right.
stability of
And so what this cost is that we've presented, and I appreciate the consideration, it is the cost of the material, just the bare cost of the material that we purchased for install, that we subtracted out the labor and equipment to extract it. So that would be the $26,600 that it would take for labor and equipment to pull that wall out.
And was that 26,605.38, was that in the bid because originally you were going to remove it? I mean, was that in the bid price?
That was in the bid, yes. Yes.
So that's why you see the cost of material minus the 26, because the 26 was already in the contract that they bid to remove it. So they would have gotten that anyway.
But what I'm getting at is this was a change that was recommended by the structure point
After it was driven.
after they were driven, in the middle of the project.
Yes.
That's right, yeah. We opened up the discussions, and I think they agreed with us that it could serve a purpose for the city as well. Being the water line, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mario, but it could be added benefit. If there was any issues with the water line in the future, you have this now permanent wall to help support your slope, and you won't get into the granular backfill that we backfilled the concrete cast-in-place wall with.
So what he's saying, if that water line would leak, break, and had to get access to it, we would probably lose the fill section that has the generator setting on the concrete pad and also the shoulder of the roadway.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Kent, but not only is there water line there, I think there's a 15-inch sewer line in that area too as well.
There is sewer line, also 2 48-inch storm pipe.
Pump outs, you know.
Yeah.
And not counting all the electric that was placed for the construction going to the new pit. And I think we're 12-inch pipe and roughly 20 foot deep.
It's 17 foot deep, yep, approximately at that location, yep.
So if we were gonna do this project separately, how much would it have cost, Mario? You got any guess?
Separately
Putting this piling in as a separate job.
Well, you got
We brought somebody,
$64,000 in
not
material.
with this one, I know, that's why I'm asking. Because that's what I don't know. How much would this cost us as a project if we were going to do it by ourselves? We've got a price of $64,000 just for the material. I mean,
it is what it is. He's got the breakdown.
right.
Well, but to install it's probably, it was probably in their bid to install it. the
Correct.
temporary, so it's
That's what I was
probably
trying to
another $50,000
find
or
out, yeah.
$60,000 to install them at a minimum.
I guess to provide some answer to that, you could roughly double that 26. That would be the cost to drive it in. Same equipment, removes it. And that's not included as part of the 64. So it would be 52,000 roughly above and beyond the 64,000 for the material.
So it's over $100,000. It's a separate project.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Tommy. It's kind of upsetting you pay all this money to these engineers and all of a sudden, it's not part of the initial thing that should be, and puts us in this predicament to do these change orders, which is not approved through the State Board of Accounts. They'll catch this one.
Yeah.
Well, then how should we do it? I don't want to be caught.
I mean, is it
I'm like the mayor. You gotta
errors
pay
and
the bills.
omissions from the engineer?
You gotta, you know, you gotta pay them.
Well, they're gonna say it's unforeseen. They're gonna say, look on page 620, and you'll see we're not responsible for it.
Well, and I think in terms of, if you're analyzing, okay, the project itself obviously needed to be bid and had to be bid. If we're carving out just this part of it, then the only way, if we go backwards, let's say they came to us before somehow and
Which would've
they
been
wanted
nice.
to be separate, then only they could do the work because they were already
Right.
doing the work. So that would be an exception to the bid requirement, which I feel comfortable that the State Board of Accounts would accept, because we're not circumventing the bid process to just pay them to do it. There are unforeseen circumstances where they could be the only ones to do it because they were working in it and they actually did do it, and we're avoiding any costs of installation by doing it this way. Plus, there was already money baked in.
I mean,
for
you know, a lot of times what they do, and, you know, with the State Board of Accounts, they say, hey, get a hold of your city attorney. If he'll write the letter, explain it, he'll put his name on it, then, now, it's not saying we're not gonna get dinged on it later, but if the city attorney and Dale just said he would write a letter, put his name on it, so.
Well, and the two engineers who say we had to do this.
Right. I mean,
Well-
yeah, go ahead.
Well, really, if we go backwards, it's from here on forward, any projects, we should know about change orders before they get done. Period. Period. That way, they get approved. We're able to, it's not, you know, it's part of the project.
Well, keep in mind, they were gonna do this, again, their means and methods. It wasn't gonna be a change order. They were gonna literally remove it as part of their forming,
Yeah.
correct?
That's right, that's right.
But the removal of it will endanger the water line.
Yes.
All right, so if we didn't, did you have to put it in there to begin with?
Yes, we did have to install it, especially considering the water line. It would be exposed to safely bench that slope back to excavate for our foundation for that wall. Your water line would have been exposed.
So that should have been put in the first place. You guys, when you took that out.
Yeah, it's there, it's going to protect your road and your water line. I mean, it has to be shored.
If it wasn't shored, we'd have probably closed Bilby, that section of Bilby Road down for the duration of that fill placement.
Yeah, and so in a perfect world, first of all, the engineers would have anticipated this, and when they designed the project, they would have said, you're gonna install it but keep it. And then secondly, they would have just brought it to us before as soon as they realized they were gonna have to leave it in, so.
Yeah,
that's
it
the
should have
only
been designed as an orphan wall to be left in there. Yes.
And then we would have approved it to begin with. It's just when they do it, when it happens after the fact, it puts us in a tougher position.
Well, I mean, it went from a change order, is what you're calling it, to a product asset to the city. It's a wall. He's not saying you have to pay it. He's just asking you to pay it. There's a difference there.
Because if he removes it, it could cause
Correct.
harm, and we've saved money by doing it as part of this project instead of staying on.
I mean, I still think, does this fall into a design element that was missed? I mean, I'm not saying from you guys, I'm saying from structure point.
It would be hard to consider errors and omissions because you didn't know until you opened it up on the bench.
I think you made the comment that until we seen the exposed water pipe or water line, we didn't know that this was gonna have to be done, correct?
Standing here, I can't tell you that it was, I believe the layout was as drawn in the plans.
Okay.
I don't believe there was any elevations, but I think we can figure the elevation of where it's at. So we knew it would need to be shored. It's the method that we chose. And especially looking at the job, you got the power lines running overhead, but we did determine that we could drive them.
So the engineer probably had something figured in here, some method. There were other methods to be able to use.
The other method would have been benching it, laying
That's
it
what I'm
over
saying.
and benching it.
This was the method that the contractor chose because you know what, it's
Correct.
it's better for us probably.
Yeah, we've got a product now we can work with.
Yeah.
for Billy's future, if it breaks or needs attention.
So the question on the table is the city of Lawrenceburg going to pay O'Mara the price of $37,999.96 to pay for the work that they did,
Which is paying for the material.
or the material?
Material,
Paying
correct.
for the material,
The
which we
material.
will maintain as an asset.
The material, yeah.
So I would like to chime something in if I could, please. You know, it's been brought to my attention through this whole process, we had a water line going through there. With the way this project was done, they put all the fill above that water line. We now have a water line that's 17 feet in the ground. If anything ever happened, now I don't know if that's a design issue or how this all came about, but after I found out what was going on, I was not happy about that at all. That's not a good design practice. It's not a good design feature. We don't have the equipment to dig 17 feet in the ground. We would have to contract that out. So this project created a problem for us. Yeah, they were protecting the water line, but now we have a water line that's 17 feet deep. And
Now, the water line is not 17 foot.
How deep was
No.
it before, Bill?
It's about 4 foot at the location on the slope. It's only about 4 foot. Our foundation for that cast in place wall was 17 foot. We had to excavate
I
down.
was told the fill above the water line was 17 feet.
No,
We
sir.
had to
No, sir.
excavate for the footings for the job.
The water line's on the low side of the wall.
Right.
The only thing you have added over the water line now is that sidewalk that runs to that generator pad. So the grades, I don't believe the grades changed at that location, the water line.
I was told that water line is like 17 feet deep now because of the fill that was put in there.
No, sir. No, sir.
Pothole at the top, you can, yeah, water line's in the same location it always was.
That's a good thing.
You'd have
Well, yeah,
lost, you'd have lost the water line if we'd have dug it
Right.
20 foot or 17 foot down to that.
So the other method of shoring would be to bench it back, slope it back, cut the earth away to save bilby, and that water line would have been exposed.
So, okay, where in reference on there is the water line?
Behind the
other
wall.
side of that
Side of the-
wall.
On the other side.
Or is
Yeah.
it towards the
No,
the
towards
lot?
Bilby Road.
parking lot?
On the
The other
Bilby
side.
Road side of the wall.
Yeah.
So if it's towards Bilby Road, as Mr. Kennett stating, it has to be, you guys filled in there. That used to be like this and now it's up here. So you had to put fill in to put the
It
slab up
it probably
here.
doesn't have 2 foot of fill more
Okay.
than what it had on there before.
So it is on that side.
Yes.
You can see the original
You can see the
grass
original grass.
at Bilby Road where the grade is.
That's not what I'm being told, but
Yeah,
This is the guy that did it.
yeah.
Yeah, and I can assure you it's not 17.
okay.
Yeah, yeah. I do have a set of plans that we can
Yeah,
look
Billy,
at
if
it
you go
further.
to Gowdy Road, there's a valve there. You can check that depth. If you go to where that hydrant is on the inlet there, the driveway at the market,
Tractor Supply.
Tractor Supply,
Yep.
you'll see a valve there.
Gotcha.
Yep. So you've got your 2 depths.
Okay. I'll check into that more tomorrow. I was told that that fill was put directly over top of the water line. And,
Only way there would be another even 2 foot, there's a sidewalk, and that other slab would be the only addition over top of that water line.
Yeah, we would have feathered in some topsoil over top of it.
that makes me feel better. You know,
Yeah.
I was thinking,
But we have, you know,
there was not good coordination through the construction effort if that was the case.
no, yeah, the wall was,
We actually met with Andy and, yeah.
Santa's cheeks are getting
Yeah.
red.
But what we're saying though, if that line would leak or need to be replaced, you would have lost the fill section if that wall wasn't there.
Yeah, yeah. So I understand why the wall was put in. I just didn't like the fact that it was put in to build over top of the water line like I was told. But, you know, hopefully I was told wrong.
You can see the fill in the photos. Where the excavator's sitting is about where the generator is.
Okay.
On the other side of that wall, existing grade, you see the grass. Measure down 4 foot, and you're gonna hit top of water line.
and just off of memory, if we see the generator pad, the concrete pad that the generator sits on, it's within 6 foot of the edge of that pad. I think it was,
But you're filling in up to the piling, right? That piling's no longer exposed. You've
That's
covered up
correct.
the
Well,
piling.
you see the low cut on the
It's on the other side of
two piling?
the wall.
Yeah, it's not,
It's on the other side of the wall, Billy.
The
It's not on that
water
side.
line is on this side?
It's on
I
On
was
the
told
north,
water line was
the
on this
northeast side of that wall.
it's on the other side.
Okay.
That's the
Okay.
reason he said he put the piling in.
All right, that makes me feel better.
So we wouldn't let that, it would expose it if they
Thank
had to
goodness
put the
Billy's
piling.
But if you look overhead, also, you can't get a track hoe or piece of equipment because you have overhead electric right above that
Yeah.
water line.
Okay.
I tried to bite my tongue, but
You
I
did.
figured I better have my say.
You did? Oh, you got some clarification.
Yeah. Because that would not be a good practice to bury a water line 17 feet deep.
Okay, other questions?
You know, there's a sewer line running through there as well, right?
Correct.
That's to my understanding.
Yes.
And where's, is the sewer line on the high side or the low side of that wall? I guess on the east or the west side of the wall.
Be on the
That would go to
northeast
lift
side
station
also.
13.
I'd say it'd
correct?
be on the west side, wouldn't it?
And now it's on the east side of the wall. Here's the-
Essentially, I mean, to get the footers in for this, for the pad for the generator, I mean, essentially, they're saying they shored it up instead of just letting the grade go down, you know, which was gonna potentially shut down Bilby Road while they were working on it. So they chose to put the pylons in and
Now, could the engineers came up with a different method to set the pad on? Probably, but they didn't look at the water line to be a nuisance or a jeopardy until you open it up.
We
I mean,
should,
you think they would have done a little bit better survey of that water, the engineers, in regards to knowing that, you know, it's gonna jeopardize if they're digging footers down.
Well, Billy's group gave them all the information. I think it was actually Olin at that time, and Andy shared that information with them on the design.
we should have left the pizza place there.
That was on the other side.
That was
That was
Domino's.
on that side.
And wasn't that where Domino's first
Pizza
was?
place was on
My dad had a
The creek side.
Creek side.
ACR rental there.
and it's all,
It was a little-
Was it Domino's, or was that where
That
that,
was more the Shell
was that where
station
that, that guy used to
Yeah.
roll and stuff?
area.
Is that his name?
That was before Domino's.
Well, it's a long
All
time
right.
ago.
You're going way
Got a
back.
decision to
Roll
make.
back, bud.
Revert back.
Moving.
Like we ain't got no choice.
Well, guys,
I mean, can they yank the wall out right now? Can you pull them out? Pylons?
And then there goes Bill's water line.
Yeah.
would not advise it.
what's the pleasure?
I'm ready to make the motion if everybody else is.
What motion you making?
Make the motion to pay the bill of what we owe, $37,999.96.
Okay, motion on the floor. Second.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Roll call, please.
All right, we got Councilperson Tony Abbott,
Aye.
Councilperson Justin Uppert,
Aye.
Councilperson Tommy Roulette,
Nay.
Councilperson Lenny Fryman,
Aye.
Councilperson Brett Bondurant.
Aye.
Motion,
But I would like to say
Motion.
now,
motion passes 4-1.
yes, hopefully this is the last
Yep.
time.
That brings up a good point, Mayor. When we first started this conversation, you alluded to the fact that maybe we've got some things in place now that didn't exist at one time that are going to protect us from this happening again in the future.
Well, I believe we better have,
Okay.
because, yeah, these are surprises you don't want.
Right.
Absolutely.
But Mr. Abbott mentioned earlier, this is the second time it's happened, right? When was the
Yes.
first, Tony?
Firestone
135.
Building, filling in, to fill in.
135 Short Street.
Okay.
Well, that's just a mistake.
Yeah.
That was a
This
mistake.
is, I feel like it's a different category, more of an unforeseen, you
I don't
know?
know how that could be a mistake. I mean, they had to know how much fill they had to have.
It was
That's
a
your,
mistake.
that's your job.
I'm saying that one, I'm
Yeah,
not.
he said,
We're talking
Yeah.
about this one. That one over there, that was a mistake.
and the motion's made, and we're moving on.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right,
Thank you.
Besides, there's a big
thank you.
game here pretty soon.
Appreciate the
Thank you.
comment. Okay, the next item, the Civic Park stage upgrades. Guys, I'm waiting on 2 other bids, so I'd like to get a motion to table that.
I'll make that motion, Mayor.
I'll second, Your Honor.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. No other new business. Old business, I have Board of Works passed on the LPD SOPs with a favorable to council. Any comments from council about that? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion, Mayor.
All right, second,
I'll second, Your Honor.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I think it's great they've all got body cameras now.
Yeah, it is.
Great for the public and it's great for them.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Does Snyder have one also?
Don't know about that.
We'll
I
just
think
see.
we want one on him.
I'd rather not see him fishing.
Yeah. Any other old business that I may not have had on here? If not, entertain comments from the audience. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question about the billing system you were talking about for the utilities.
It's not going to lower your bill, Gene.
No, I'm not asking that. Will I get a bill that'll clearly show me how much was electric, water, and sewer?
We're gonna try to fix that. That's a part of the, because when you look at our utility bills, it's very hard to decipher.
Yeah, and then there's like something, for some reason, sometimes it looks like my water and sewer is like nothing, and my electric is way more, because they like subtract something and then add it up there, and
Yeah, that's.
I
gonna
have
be,
no idea what that's all about.
Part of this process. We have fixed some of it, but not even close to where it should
Yeah.
be. You know, I've done utility billing for 35 years, and I looked at those bills, and I was like, just like you said, you can't tell what's what.
No,
You
and,
can't tell what's
and
what.
I'm anal, I keep a little log of how much my electric is each month and how much my water and sewer is.
It's
And
difficult.
it's hard to figure it out.
It is.
I have to get out a calculator.
That is part of what I was saying was not done right, and that was our fault because we defined what our bills are to look like, and we just didn't do a good
But
job.
what is that, subtracting like $38 down here and then in the water sewer and then adding it in the electric? What's that for?
Creative accounting.
That's how we make our money. I'm just,
No, I don't, I mean,
I shouldn't get about stuff like that, but it's clear that we did not do a good job of setting that.
it's
billing
strange,
system up, and
very
So
strange.
that is something.
There will be, yeah, there will be definite improvements, and that'll happen very quickly because we understand it's a real problem.
Okay. Where is this new coffee shop we're talking about?
Down, right?
It's next to
50 close.
Gilman's
In between Gilman's and the.
and Advanced Auto Parts.
That's right.
Yep.
Okay. And my other question was, why did we pay for some maintenance at Zion Church?
That's
That is-
our clock.
It's our property?
City of Lawrenceburg.
Back in the 60s.
Okay.
The clock is ours.
Yeah.
Oh,
clock.
okay.
Yep.
Just curious.
Yep.
I think back then they could not afford it to maintain it, so they come to the city to offer it to us, and the city bought it.
Okay.
Own it now. Any other comments from the audience? Okay, if not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the claims.
I'll make that motion, Mayor.
Brett, second.
Second.
Lenny, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I got a separate claim here that Miss Felix needs approved for the employee Christmas lunch for this Friday in the amount of $7,450.33. I'd like to get approval for that so they can have their Christmas luncheon.
We don't add,
Luncheon.
we don't.
Tom, would you like to make that motion?
Ball humbug, I'll make that motion. I was ribbed
I'll second it.
earlier.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Pass that on down to Mr. Fetty, please.
I tried to back you up.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve all payroll reports and checks once properly certified.
I'll move, Your Honor.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Motion to adjourn?
I'll move, second move.
But before adjournment, Eddie Canoe Toy Giveaway this Saturday, right?
Saturday.
The 9th, so,
This Saturday.
yeah.
Yes.
It's a good one.
It's,
Maybe my favorite event in the city all year long.
is that at noon?
I think it's noon.
Connie Canoe's toy.
I believe it's noon.
It's gonna be.
I believe you're right, Mayor.
It's supposed to be chilly this weekend,
Is
isn't it?
that when Santa Claus rides around, throws all them toys out?
Yeah.
You'll see Santa Claus, you'll
I'll be
see,
there.
you'll see,
I'll be there.
Get out there.
float winning,
All right.
Mr. Kennett's float there.
Yeah.
Our float
Yeah.
will be,
Yep.
did I say anything about our float?
Maybe that's what it is.
I get a motion to adjourn? I get a motion?
Eddie made a motion.
Second.
Second? Who made second?
I'll second it, Mayor.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thanks, everybody. Be safe going home.
Yeah.
Now we gotta sign our life away.
Well, I'll tell you what, this week is. Fast? Yes, it's taking off.